Grammar Lesson 1.4, Telling Time. In our last Grammar Lesson 1.3, we learned that there are several different ways we use the verb ser, and one of those ways is to tell what time it is. This was the T that we used in the acronym DOCTOR. So we're going to first look at the phrase that you would use to ask what time it is. You would ask, ¿Qué hora es? What time is it? You can see that es is part of this sentence, and that's one of the conjugated forms of the verb ser, which you learned in your last lesson. Okay, if the time is 1 o'clock, since the number 1 is singular, then we would say es la una. It is 1 o'clock. If we're talking about any other hour that's larger than 1, then we use son because it's plural. So for example, if we wanted to say it is 2 o'clock, we would say son las dos. Sometimes you'll hear people use the phrase en punto to say that it's exactly on the hour. So for example, if it's 6 o'clock sharp, then you might say son las 6 en punto. If it's after the hour, then you use the phrase y, which means and then the number that it is after. So for example, if it's 4:05, we would say son las 4:05. Literally what we're saying is it is 4 and 5, or they are 4 and 5, excuse me, because the 4 o'clock hour would be plural. And if I wanted to say it's 11:20, I would say son las 11:20. In English, a lot of times when it is 15 after the hour or 30 after the hour, instead of someone saying 9:15 or 12:30, sometimes they'll say a quarter after 9 or half past 12. And we have phrases like that in Spanish as well. So you can say the basic phrase like we just learned. So if it's 9:15, you can say son las 9:15. And if it's 12:30, you could say son las 12:30. Or you might want to say for 9:15, son las 9:15. This is like saying it's a quarter after 9. Or if it's 12:30, you could say son las 12:30. Means it's half past 12. Okay, likewise in English, when we say the time and it's a little bit before, we might say it's a quarter till or it's 10 till, whatever the coming hour is. And we do that in Spanish as well. So an example here, if it's 12:45 in English, we might say it's 15 till 1 or a quarter till 1. So in Spanish, if you wanted to say that it's a quarter till 1, you would say es la una menos cuarto. What you're literally saying here is that it is 1 o'clock minus a quarter. If you wanted to say that it's 15 till instead of a quarter till, then you can use the word quince as well. So like to say that it's 2:45, you could say son las 3 menos quince. So those two phrases, menos cuarto and menos quince, mean the exact same thing. They both mean 15 till or a quarter till. You can also use the term menos whenever it's anything after the half hour. So to say 7:40, if you wanted to say like it's 20 minutes till 8, you would use son las 8 menos 20. Or 2:50, if you wanted to say it's 10 till 3, then you would say son las 3 menos 10. So the word menos means minus or less. Okay, if you want to ask or tell what time something takes place, like if you're talking about a specific event or a class or something like that, the way you ask, you would say a qué hora. So for example, if I want to ask what time is the party, then I would say a qué hora es la fiesta. Or if I wanted to say what time is biology class or at what time is the class, a qué hora es la clase de biología. To answer or to tell someone what time something starts, you would say if it's at 1 o'clock, a la una. If it's any number larger than 1, then you use las again. So 2 o'clock, for example, would be a las dos. Or if it's 8 o'clock, a las ocho, whatever the hour happens to be. There are a couple of other useful phrases that we use when we're talking about time. The word mediodía is how you say noon. So if I wanted to say it's noon, I would say es el mediodía. To say it's midnight, I would say es la medianoche. If you want to say that something happens in the morning, they don't use the phrase AM or PM in Spanish, so instead you specify whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening. And you can do that by saying de la mañana for morning, de la tarde for afternoon, de la noche for something that happens at night. So to say it's 9 o'clock a.m., you would say son las 9 de la mañana. To say that it's 10 o'clock p.m., you would say son las 10 de la noche. ¿Hay preguntas? Anyone have any questions? Let me know if you do.